Welcome to Silverstone. This ground here is rich with history, a former airfield that served in the Second World War and now hosts one of the oldest and most iconic races in motorsport. It's the Formula One British Grand Prix. The 3.6-mile-long Silverstone circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and of Copse flat out. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Piastri, Tsunoda, Max Verstappen, and Antonelli, Leclerc, Norris, Hadjar, and Lance Stroll, Albon, Sainz, Liam Lawson, and Fernando Alonso, Doohan, Gasly, Nico Hülkenberg, and Ollie Behrman. Ocon and Gabriel Bortoleto rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Well, it's been a long time since I last worked with you. Good to see you again today. Anthony Davidson. I love being here at Silverstone. I know you do too. Mainly because we get to sleep in our own houses for a week. But what do the drivers enjoy most about this track?
Well, Silverstone's such a challenging circuit, Crofty, more so for the car than the driver, because these high-speed corners at Silverstone really test this modern-day F1 machinery to its maximum. We don't get that many times throughout the calendar. I can only think of Suzuka and Spa, maybe Qatar as well, with that high-energy cornering that you get here at Silverstone. So the drivers love throwing the car around through corners like Copse, Maggots and Beckett's, for example, and it's really influential for your lap time as well.
Okay, let's have a comms check, please. Radio check.
Radio's good.
We can now use DRS. DRS now available. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap.
It's quite good.
He came, he saw, he conquered. It's victory for Gabriele Bortoleto.
You always look back at a race like this and think, if I'd just made that mistake there or locked up here, there would have been contact. And every one of those overtakes is a moment where you have to absolutely nail it, perfect it, and that's exactly what they're able to do today. Great stuff indeed.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've absolutely loved watching that action today, and I'm sure these three have loved taking part. Here come our podium finishers. And that top spot waits for one driver. Today, it's Gabriele Bortoleto. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon. Welcome everyone to Silverstone, home of the British Grand Prix and home of the Formula One World Championship, where the very first F1 World Championship Grand Prix took place back in 1950. To this present day, it remains a firm favourite amongst fans and drivers alike. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Yuki Tsunoda completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Russell, Antonelli, Lando Norris, and Hamilton. Verstappen, Piastri, Lawson, and Isaac Hadjar. Stroll, Sainz, Alex Albon, and Fernando Alonso. Behrman, Hülkenberg, Esteban Ocon, and Pierre Gasly. Bortoleto and Jack Doohan rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Okay, radio check, radio check.
Yeah, radio check.
Okay, DRS is now available. Okay, good work. Great pass. Good job, that was the fastest lap of the race so far. Tyre condition still looking good. Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
Not sure I should be happy for that, but I'm actually happy, so good.
And here's the checkered flag for our winner today. Well done and hats off to Gabriele Bortoleto.
They had to be decisive with their overtaking today as they worked their way through the field. And those kind of race victories are so enjoyable because it's not just like winning from the front. They really had to work for it today.
What a day it's been for Formula One, and what a day it's been for these three drivers. Time for the podium celebrations. Time for our drivers to celebrate. Congratulations and well done. It's Gabriele Bortoleto. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.